morning, good morning, good morning. It is 5:30 in the morning on a Saturday, and you talk about pushing it to the last minute. We are recording. I have the music going, but you talk about pushing it to the very, very last minute. My coffee wasn't ready. This has been a crazy, crazy morning. Anyway, here we are today. Let's go ahead and spritz this. Here we are today. We're going to draw this little toucan. It's here in front of me. My little spritzer's out of spritzer. Where's my water bottle? We're going to draw this little toucan. It is a white-breasted toucan. They are native to Central and South America. Most famous for their love of cereal. But this has been one of those mornings where everything took longer than it should have. I used to play this game called Sims. I know it's still around. I know people still play it. But the game is where you go in and you build these houses and you build up these neighborhoods, and then you design these families to live in these houses and these neighborhoods. And then you have goals like get them a job, get them married, get them to have children. But they have to do stuff like they have to get up in the morning and make coffee and make breakfast. And I used to get so mad at how long the game had all of that stuff programmed to do. Like it would take 20 minutes to make a pot of coffee, and the carpool is already outside. You got to get the guy out the door. I know this sounds really dumb. You have to get the guy out the door, and he can't go to work until he's had his coffee, or he'll have a bad day. You got to raise his mood by letting him have coffee. But the coffee takes more than 20 minutes to make, and it doesn't take 20 minutes to make coffee. And I would just curse the game for the way it was written. And now, sure enough, every time I'm in a hurry, the coffee takes 20 minutes. It takes way more time than it should to go to the grocery store. They weren't actually very far off on their algorithm. But I used to get really mad at it. Anyway, toucans. That's a very Toucan way to tell a story. Toucans are from Central and South America. They make horrible pets. It's not true. People love to keep them as pets. They're playful. They're friendly. They're expensive. They need lots and lots and lots of room. They're climbers. And they're very smart. They can be trained to do tricks. They're corvid level smart, which is crows. Crows are known for their problem-solving abilities. And these things are on that level of smart. They can fly. They typically choose not to because they're living in the canopy of the rainforest and the branches are really close together. Flying is not the ideal way to move about. And so they tend to hop more than fly. They have very short wings, very short stubby wings. So like I said, they can fly. They make little short hops, a little short flight to get from tree branch to tree branch if they have to. But that is not their preferred method of transportation. They prefer to jump. They tuck their wings and jump from one tree to the next. And they use their bills. They're known for their huge. This is the wrong pen. They're known for their huge, colorful bills. This one in particular has a mostly black bill with blue and yellow trim. They didn't put the yellow trim on the toy. I don't know why they didn't put the yellow trim on the toy. Otherwise, the coloration is almost spot on. It's missing the it's missing the coloration on the bill. There's usually yellow or red on the bill, and then there's usually a tuft of red at the tail. That is not on this toy. Can't talk, Harding. But there's usually a tuft of red on the tail, and they're very colorful. They have these huge bills, which is what they're famous for. These huge colorful bills that they use to reach from the branch that they're on. They reach as much fruit as they possibly can around them before having to move. Oh, sorry, my mom's saying there's more shadow of my hand and pen. I bought new lights. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. I bought new lights to install today. They came in yesterday, but they didn't come in time for me to install them. But they use these huge bills. Part of their mating process is actually tossing food back and forth to each other and catching it to show how capable they are of using their bill, to show how healthy they are of using their bill. They say that, you know, they're always trying to interpret why would an animal evolve such a thing as a large, colorful bill like that. And there's a couple of reasons, because, you know, they live in the treetops, and there's flowering plants up there, and there's fruit up there, and the birds are black and with splashes of bright color, which would look like the shadow between the branches and the fruit and flowers. So there's speculation that it's mostly camouflage. But of course, once you have an adaptation like that, it's real easy for it to move to mating rituals where the males can use those bills to fight with, and they do. There's video of them fighting with the bills, clacking them back and forth. The clacking of the bill is part of their communication process. They usually communicate with whistles, low growls, and clacking of the bill. And so there's that. And then, of course, there's the flashing the bills to attract the females. You know, they got these big colorful bills, and the one with the biggest, most colorful bill attracts the female, attracts the most females. And I watched that on the video last night, and I looked over at my wife, and I decided I would try a little experiment. And so I tried it out, and it turns out that the bigger and the more colorful the bill, like a $100 bill, gets more attention than say a smaller $1 bill or an electric bill. The electric bill was bigger but less colorful and didn't get as much attention. The $100 bill, of course, being the biggest and the most colorful, got the most attention. So apparently this works across most species, human species as well. There's my son sneaking up behind me.
Hola.
Hey, buddy. Good morning.
Morning, people.
I love you very much.
Let me do that. I'll go make a cup of coffee.
Okay. No, I have some, thanks.
Lovely.
You see that? You see my baby boy comes in here. It's 5:45 in the morning, and my baby boy come in here and offered to make me a cup of coffee.
I was doing deep prepping, and then Mo came, or Rat, whatever, and decided to make a D&D mode.
Oh. Apparently my children did not sleep last night.
No, that one's sleeping right now.
So they're awake, or one of them's awake.
I was asleep for 16 hours.
When I was a kid, I would do that. As soon as school was out, I would stay up all night long. I would stay up all night long, and I would read. And of course, we didn't have internet, so there was no. I couldn't play games or be online. But I would sure enough stay up all night reading. Lovely snot sorting sounds. Alright, let's see if we can get some of his color. I tell you what, let's let the body dry a minute. We'll put the drop shadow in. We'll go ahead and sketch in where the drop shadow should be. No, because that lets the dogs out. Thank you, though.
Toucan?
Yep. It's a white-breasted toucan.
And any interesting facts about that?
They are endangered because of deforestation. We hadn't got to that part of the show yet, though. We were just talking about the largest bill with coloration, with the most coloration, attracting a mate. I love you too. He has books about birds. He loves birds. Loves him some birds. Now, the coloration of this thing is black. Most of the coloration of this thing is black, but I don't really want him black. Black is a very dull color. So what we're going to do, this thing just leaks so much water. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some black and mix it with some blue. So it won't be pure black. And then we're going to really wet it down. And we'll just put a gray tone over. We'll just put a gray tone over the shading that we just did. And that'll give us the impression of black. A charcoal tone over all of this. And that'll give us the impression of black. The bigger problem for me is it's a toy, and so it has black where it shouldn't have black, and it has material where it shouldn't have material. And so sometimes that's just a little bit frustrating. Not nearly as frustrating as that thing just throwing a big puddle of water on my paper. I'm going to have to invest in some brush pens that don't run. The good thing about today is that it's a Saturday. So I don't have to rush because I don't have work today. On the toy, he's supposed to be a white-breasted toucan, but his chest is not white on this toy at all. So I don't have to worry about it matching up with the paint, with the background, with the white paper. We're going to dry this real quick. I have the hairdryer a long ways away because I don't want to blow the paper. I don't want to blow the paint around the paper. You can already see around the beads that where that paint has kind of moved off of where it's supposed to be, bled off of where it's supposed to be. I want to make sure and prevent that. So I've got the hairdryer a long ways away. It takes it longer to dry that way. But I need it to dry so we can move to the fountain pen stage. And then I knocked him over. The hairdryer didn't blow the paint away, but it blew my model over. All right, so these things are struggling because of two things. People are poaching them for pets, kind of like parrots. Kind of like parrots, people are poaching them for pets. And they're diminishing their capacity to recover. They mate for life. Some of them mate for life, some of them only mate for the breeding season. Some of them mate for extended periods, not life. But when you go into the wilderness and you snatch one, you have interrupted the mating cycle, because they mate, like I said, they either mate for life or at the very least, they mate for the mating season. And so when you take one out, you take away their potential mate, their ability to mate for the season. And if they mate for life, you take away their ability to mate ever again. So poaching them for pets is one way they're having struggles. Another reason they're having struggles is deforestation. And there's a couple of major things going on with the deforestation that are going on for ridiculous reasons. One of them in particular, I just can't believe it's happening at all, but it is happening. They, in an effort to reforest their countries, the governments of some of the Central and South American companies and countries and southern Mexico have instituted programs where farmers can plant trees and get paid for every tree they plant. And that's cool, but farmers only have so much land to plant trees on. And so in an effort to plant more trees, they're cutting down the existing trees to give them more places to plant trees. Which is causing a problem because it's removing the trees where the animals are nesting. These guys nest in the holes of older trees. So when you cut the older trees down, there's no holes for them to nest in. The younger trees don't have that kind of damage yet. And so that is a problem. The other one that bothers me is they're clear cutting and they're planting palm trees for palm oil, because palm oil is a huge market. We put palm oil in peanut butter, for instance. Why would we put palm oil in peanut butter? There's a peanut oil in peanut butter. Hi, Elizabeth. Glad to see you. There's peanut oil in peanut butter. Why would you add palm oil? But the palm oil industry clear cuts jungle, rainforest jungle, and plants palm trees so they have palm trees to harvest for the palm oil industry. And palm trees don't have the holes in the tree base for these things to nest in. So even if the palm trees get old enough without being harvested, they're the wrong kind of tree. But the clear cutting of the forest in order to plant trees, to get paid for a new plant tree, is absolutely ridiculous. But that is, again, you're talking about people who are Central and South America. I mean, they're starving. They're really struggling. Uh-oh. I was recording and my phone quit recording. Something happened. I must have bumped my phone. So, oh well, we lost part of the drawing. Be all right. So here we are at the end. I'm glad Elizabeth got to see us. But here is my rendering of a toucan next to an actual toucan, or next to the toy, which by the way fell over, so it won't have at all the same appearance. But let's see if we can get him in about the same. I got carried away with that shadow for sure. So there's the sketch and the object together. Yeah, we had gremlins this morning. And, you know, it didn't help that it took 20 minutes to make coffee. So, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I do look forward to this, even with the gremlins. I do look forward to this every day. This is, you know, I jump out of bed to come down here and do this, and I know it's 5:30 on a Saturday morning, and I don't have anywhere else to be. I could go right back to bed if I wanted to, but I'm up. I have coffee, and I'm going to probably sit around and enjoy some quiet time alone for a little bit, since the kids just went back to bed. I don't know if he's going back to bed or not. The fact that he came in here to say hi to me is just impressive, because normally they're like feral cats. They only come out to hiss at us and demand food. But guys, thank you so much. Have a great day. Be sure and tune in tomorrow. Same Artistic Biker time, same Artistic Biker channel. And then we dance. We dance until somebody says they see me dancing, because as soon as they say they see me dancing, I know that the lag has caught up with the video, with the streaming, and I don't have to worry